You know what time it
Time to
is.
stand up and speak your mind. In this elitist jungle, keep the beats alive. Whether yoga or doja that keeps you high. Gotta stay up, cause on the street you die. Time to wake up and see the light. Stop counting sheep, seize your life. Free your eyes and see suns rise on the horizon. Where the street meets the sky. The master's ignorance feeds our master's greed.
What's up, y'all? Good morning. Sunday morning. Yes, sir. You know, woke up this morning to go to the skateboard park. They got a new one. Well, there's an old one up the road here. And they did some add-ons and some remodels, and I haven't been able to skate there yet. So I got up this morning, you know, and I was like, yeah, let's get out there and skate this morning, man. That sounds like a great idea. We'll get out there before it gets too hot out here in friggin' Arizona. I get there, and the place doesn't open until 9 a.m. Like, what the heck? 9 a.m. in Arizona? Jeez Louise, you're trying to kill everybody. The place should be open 7 a.m., man. Get us going early. Anyway, so come back and I'll do a quick little pod and get this pod knocked out because I got something on my mind for another discussion, and I wanted to we'll knock this pod out, and then I'll head on up there to the skateboard park and do a little skateboarding this morning. Yes, sir. So the topic I want to discuss is excuses, right? And excuses, because we can all make excuses, you know. I can make excuses for sure. I'm guilty of that. And yeah, so I wanted to talk about excuses. And so, you know me, Mr. Definition Man over here, I went ahead and looked up the definition of excuse and excuses. And so the definitions go something like this. An attempt to lessen the blame attached to a fault or offense, or seek to defend or justify. Interesting. Excuse me. If you remember in an earlier episode, I had mentioned how as you start to look up definitions of things, you start to find how they connect to other words, right? And this is really interesting for me. So, justify was something that we looked up recently. You know, it's something that I looked up recently, something that I had shared with you guys recently, and here we are again, right? Seek to defend or justify, right? Attempt to lessen the blame attaching to a fault or offense, right? A reason to put forward to defend or justify an offense or fault. A reason put forward to defend or justify. And another one here, excuse, right? So not excuse, but excuse. A release from duty or requirement. And I put in parentheses responsibilities. Requirement, responsibilities, release from duty or requirement. You may be excused. We can all do this. Like I said, we can make excuses. I know I can make excuses. I'm not outside of the realm of having to, you know, make excuses. I do it. And one of the things I wanted to get into yesterday was Saturday morning, and I wanted to get into it and just right off the bat go into some excuses that I make for myself regularly, pretty much. And Saturday mornings tend to have, on Saturday mornings, I can make excuses for myself, for not getting up early, for not going to the gym. And I will just go in on my card. I went ahead and broke this down. So let's see. I didn't get up early on Saturday morning, and I didn't go to the gym. So my requirement, release from duty or requirement. So my duty, my responsibility to myself, right, is to get up early and to go to the gym. Those are my requirements for myself in order to maintain myself. So what is the fault or offense on self, right? A reason put forward to defend or justify an offense or fault, an attempt to lessen the blame for fault or offense, right? So the offense to myself is that I didn't get up early and didn't go to the gym, which is my personal responsibility, my duty, my discipline. So what are my excuses, right? What are my reasons put forward to justify this offense on myself? And I put down, well, I skated on Friday night. I go skateboarding on Friday night. And when I go skateboarding, I'm up late, right? Stay up later. So Friday night, I didn't get to bed until about 23:30. And that's pretty late. That's almost, it's almost 0-100 hours. And getting up at 4 o'clock, right? And I put so I skated last night. These are reasons, right? Here's another justification is I need 6 to 8 hours of sleep in order to function. And generally speaking, I do. So if I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I work on putting a boundary up for myself, a limit. 9 p.m. is when 9 p.m. Let's get your ass in bed by 9. If I get my ass in bed by 9 and get up at 4, that gives me 7 hours of sleep. And 7 hours is pretty damn good. I think most of the time, if I go to bed, don't matter what time I go to bed, but if I go to bed, let's say I go to bed at 0-100 hours, right? If I go to bed at 0-100 hours, and I let my body sleep, and I get up when my body gets up, I'll probably get up about 6 or 6:30. That's just when my body will get up, which is roughly between that 6 to 8 hours, right? And generally speaking, it's about 7, right? So you say if I go to bed at 0-100 hours, I get up at 0-6:30, my body, that's 6.5 hours. And most of the time, the sun is up and the light's kind of shining in and your circadian rhythm kicks in, right? And so these are my excuses, right? Now, we have a negative connotation to the word excuses, right? And of course we do, because people will say, stop making excuses. Right? I mean, I say it to myself, dude, fucking making excuses for going to jail. Fucking go. If you want to skate, then, if you want to fucking skate, then you should fucking make sure you get home and get in bed at a reasonable time so you can get your ass just fucking making excuses. Right? I mean, and that's the tyrant on myself because I want to be disciplined. Now, I can tell myself, and you may even hear that, like, well, that doesn't sound too unreasonable, Berg. You were up till 23:30. 6-7 hours of sleep is reasonable. So, I'm not going to function that well if I go to bed at 23:30 and wake up at 04. Probably go to the gym and be tired and not have a good workout. And again, am I making excuses? Am I justifying? Absolutely. I am making excuses. Right? I am excusing myself, releasing myself from the requirement, right? Need my sleep 6 hours. How come I didn't go to the gym? Well, skateboarding is exercise, so I exercised extra, right? So if I'm doing my routine regularly, get up early Friday morning, go to the gym on Friday, go skate Friday night, that's 2 workouts in one day. I mean, that's a lot of exercise. So if I go skateboarding, do I need to, and also the body needs rest, right? The body needs rest. So sometimes it's okay to excuse yourself from your duty, right? Like in the military, you get excused from duty. You get released from your duty. The next watch, you're standing watch, the next watch comes, right? And you can't leave your post until the next watch shows up. If the next watch doesn't show up, you're still on watch. Or what is it? May I be excused from the table, right? Well, because it's your duty, it's your requirement, your responsibility to sit at the table and participate in the dinner. May I be excused, right? Generally speaking, we ask, may I be excused from my duty? So yeah, I wanted to get into this, and again, I wanted to figure out how I made the excuses, right? And again, just yesterday morning, it was this, right? Now these again can be reasonable. Skated up late. So what kind of excuses do you make? What are some excuses you make? Are they reasonable excuses? Now where this gets rocky and where this gets dicey is, are you making excuses all the time to relieve yourself of things that you shouldn't be relieving yourself of, right? Being an asshole, right? And then finding an excuse, blaming it on, well, I had a bad day. Well, is that a fucking decent excuse for you to be an asshole? Probably not, right? Well, or shifting blame on somebody. Well, that person did something, so I'm going to be a dick. That's not okay either. I can do that. I certainly can do that. And that's an excuse, right? An attempt to lessen the blame on me by shifting blame to you and then blaming my reaction on you, which is really, the reaction is my responsibility, my duty. So I'm releasing myself from the duty or the requirement of being a nice person. This can happen in our relationships a lot. You're making excuses. You shift blame to somebody to justify your actions, right? Or to justify your unwillingness to take action yourself based on your own, whatever your deal is, right? Avoiding responsibility is what that is. Avoiding your duty. And I mean, we can go through what the duties of a relationship are, relationships, interpersonal relationships are. We can go through what those duties are, those responsibilities, those requirements are, right? What are my requirements? And then that takes a lot of work on self, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about here, right? How can I'm sharing with you how I'm learning about myself so that I understand what my requirements are so that I can teach you. That's setting boundaries, right? Boundaries are, and we haven't really talked too much about boundaries. That's another podcast to get into. Setting boundaries essentially is about teaching you how to treat me, right? These are my requirements, right? These are my requirements, like sitting at the table. These are the requirements for the dinner situation. May I be excused? So what kind of excuses do you make? Do you make excuses regularly, right? What kind of excuses do you make for yourselves? Because that can be something that can happen too. We're talking about, let's see if I can bring this, let me see if I can bring this full circle, which I learned from Mo Designs. Hey Mo, shout out Mo Designs, right? Let's bring it back full circle. She says that, I like that. So full circle. Lost my thought because I went off to think about Mo Designs. Making excuses, the dinner table. Oh, I got it. So a lot of people, and I've heard this and I've used it before, make the excuse of, well, I'm broken, or well, I'm an imperfect person. Yeah, you are. I am. But you can't use that as an excuse to continue to behave poorly. That doesn't work out, right? That's not an excuse. You know, that's an excuse. You're lessening the offense or the fault, right? You're seeking to defend it and justify it so that you don't have to have the requirement of being a nice person or treating your partner or your friend the way that they want to be treated. You know, that's basics. Those are basics. And in my mind, those are the negative excuses. Those are the excuses that shit don't fly. I mean, that shit don't fly with me. Oh, well, I had to do oh, well, I'm broken. Nah. Yeah, you are. So am I. But that's not an excuse. You know, are you working on it? Have you made the decision? Make a decision. I was thinking about maybe what are some other excuses that I make? You know, I mean, they come up all the time. Oh, I'm tired. Okay. Are you that tired? Or here's a big one that everybody makes. A lot of people make. Well, I don't have the time. Really? Really? How much time are you spending on Instagram? We've mentioned that. I don't have time to journal. I don't have time to find a therapist. Really? How much time are you spending watching TV? You have time. You know, you have time. Get resourceful. You can figure it out. Crunch some numbers. Again. All of these things take a little bit of extra effort, right? In this world of ease and comfort, right? You know, I hear this a lot. I hear this a lot. Well, if it makes it easier for you, okay. And I understand the idea behind that. Anything that makes it easier, but think about that. That's a thing that we tell ourselves all the time, right? To try to make things easier for ourselves. Is that an excuse in and of itself? Right? Is that releasing you from the requirement of hard work? Or more work? You know, doing this podcast takes time, right? Doing this podcast takes a significant amount of my time. Now, I could and have used this time right now to sit down and watch TV or sit down and start scrolling the interwebs, you know, scrolling through fucking Instagram and Facebook. But instead, I sit down and record a podcast, right? Which takes effort. It takes time for me to look up the definitions, write on my cue cards. It takes time to dive into myself to find areas where I make excuses to share with you, right? It takes time and effort and work to write in my journal, time and effort and work to go to a therapist, time and effort. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the more you do these things, the easier they get. Think about that, right? And really, it's not about easier, but it is about, let's see how I can put this. At first, it seems like it's a challenge, and it is, but then those challenges get less, or you get accustomed to them. That's like the gym. That's like lifting the weights, right? You don't go in the gym right away and throw all the fucking plates on the bench and just be able to lift it. No, it takes time and effort adding a little bit more, right? And let's say you don't add more. Let's say you keep that weight the same, right? And the first time you lift it, you can only do it 5 times. Then the next time you can do it 6. And then the next time you can do it 8. And then the next time you can do it 10. And then the next time you can do it 12. So those first 5 reps have become easier, but it's not about necessarily easier. It's about that I got stronger, right? So then where does the next challenge go, right? So the next thing would be to add a little more weight or add more repetition, right? And so the podcast doesn't get easier, but it allows me the function. I'm stronger. I'm more comfortable in that area, right? At first it's uncomfortable and then it becomes comfortable for you. So it's not necessarily about ease, right? And there are multiple things happening. Your perspective shifts, right? When you first start going to the gym, it's hard, right? And maybe you're a little flabby and all the fucking pretty people are out there, you know? But then you start to get stronger. You start to really, your perspective shifts. And so the workouts are still difficult and challenging, but your perspective is, I enjoy this now. Now I really enjoy it. You start to see the results of your hard work and it starts to pay off, right? And now you feel good about it. And so it doesn't, shifting perspective, right? These podcasts were kind of challenging. I was getting vulnerable. I was a little nervous and afraid, right? Think about public speaking, right? It's challenging. It's nerve-wracking. It's afraid. The first time I was in a theater class and had to do a monologue, stand up in front of everybody all on my own and memorize this whole fucking thing, my heart was pounding. I was fucking scared. Get in front of people, man. That's scary. But the more you do it, the more you become accustomed to it. You build that muscle. You build that muscle. You face your fear. The fear gets less. The strength builds. The character builds, and you get better at it. So maybe it's not about getting easier. Maybe it's about getting better and becoming stronger. That's what it is. It's not about ease. It's about strength and character. I like that. Strength and character. And so identifying the excuses that you make, right? So get in your journals and write down excuses. What are some excuses I make? See if you can put together some excuses. What are these excuses? Find out why you might be making those excuses. What are your reasons, right? Didn't get up early because I stayed up last night, right? Didn't hit the gym because I skated last night and exercised, right? I need my 6 to 8 hours, right? What's the offense? Well, who is the offense on? Well, this particular offense is on myself, right? The interesting thing about this is once we start making excuses and once we start offending ourselves, we become the asshole, right? The more excuses we make, the more comfortable, the more accustomed we get to making the excuses. So let's switch that. Let's identify the excuses, and then let's see if we can make less excuses, take on more responsibility, more requirement, more duty, because that's your duty to yourself. And that's the first decision to make. I choose to take on more responsibility about myself, right? I am an asshole because I'm a piece of shit, because I believe I'm a piece of shit, so I'll just be an asshole. Well, that's not an excuse, right? I think personally for me, I think deep down inside we know that's an excuse. So let's identify that, right? I believe I'm a piece of shit. Therefore, what use is it of me to get better, right? Well, you just released yourself from the requirement of being a decent person, right? You just released yourself from the requirement of the work that it takes to better yourself. Or you can, it's possible. I fucking do that. That's justifying, right? And then you go out in the world and you act like that. And then people don't treat you the way you want it to be treated. You don't get that love, that connection. You don't get that connection. And then you can justify, see, I am a piece of shit. Whoa! That shit's wild, man. That shit's fucking wild. You know what I mean? That shit's wild. That self-sabotage. That's another podcast, man. I'll write that down. Get into some self-sabotage talk. Double-edged sword, man, all of this stuff. But the more you write, right, and then the more you speak about it, the more you share openly about it, the more you think about it, the more you become aware of it, And the more it becomes up when it comes to the surface, and the more ability you have to recognize it, visualize it, write it, and then shift those neurons in your brain, right? So here's the piece of shit that I think I am. Here's this good man, strong man that I want to be, right? And then you can begin to rewire the brain from wiring it to the piece of shit to wiring it over here to this strong man, this good man, this nice person, right? And you can shift you can rewire your brain. But it takes practice, right? Set down the phone, set down the Netflix, right? Take a little bit of time. Set a timer if you have to, right? Again, it's just about shifting the decisions you make. Small decisions, right? One small decision at a time. Make that choice. Make that choice today. You know what, Berg? I've been listening to you these several weeks, listening to these episodes, and I still haven't made that choice. But I'm going to make the decision today. No more excuses. I'm going to start on a piece of paper. You have a printer at home? Go get one piece of paper, write down, fuck it, start it right now. You can fold that piece of paper up the next time you get it and put it in your journal later when you get a journal, right? Staple a couple of pieces together of paper, right? Head down to the Dollar General, the 99-cent store. I wonder if with all this inflation, is it the $1.07 store now? I'm sure they got one of those little journals you can get, some cheap pens. You can make it happen. Right? What is it? One of my favorite dudes says, Jordan Peterson, he says, if you can think and you can speak and you can write, then you are absolutely deadly. Woo! I like that. Showza. That's what I'm working on, man. That's the strong man for me, right? Fucking deadly. Shoo! Absolutely deadly over here. Writing, thinking, and speaking to you guys. Working on all that, man, makes me better. Better than I was yesterday. Right? Better. I just heard a new one today. If you cloned yourself today, would you be able to kick your clone's ass tomorrow? Ooh. If you cloned yourself today, would you be able to kick your clone's ass tomorrow? Huh. Man, that's a good one. That one's sticking. I'm hanging on to that one. That one's sticking. I like that. Let's see, what time is it? Booyah, 8:36. How much time we got in the pod here? 28 minutes. Not bad. I like to keep these things to 30. Did I just justify? I just justified. I'm about to justify again. I got to go skate, my ninjas. You know what I'm saying? I got to go get my skates on. All right. Well, really quickly. Okay. Excuses. So let's work on that, man. That's a really good one. I made some excuses. I make excuses. I'm guilty, And if I'm making excuses, please call me out. I want you to call me out on my excuses, and I'm going to call you on yours. So if I'm making excuses, tell me, dude, that sounds like an excuse. I'm going to call you on yours. That sounds like an excuse, man. So, and let's work on calling each other on excuses. Let's sit down with our partners and our friends and say, hey, can we talk about excuses? Can you call me out when I'm making excuses? Please do. And is it cool if I call you on them? We'll be able to become better people. We'll be able to communicate. We can help each other. That's supporting each other. True friends tell you what's up, I believe. And it's hard because it's scary because we have our own shit inside of us. Well, I don't want to tell my friend when they're fucking up because then I'm going to seem like an asshole. Yeah, you might. But hopefully your friend, have that discussion with your friend. Hey, homie, I would like our relationship to be open and honest. Can we work on that so that you and I can grow and be better fucking humans in this world, dude? I want you to be the best human. I want to be the best human. And I want you to be the best. So can we do that? And by being honest with each other and calling each other out on our bullshit, we're going to help each other. You know? Shit, that's love and friendship. True love and true friendship and true connection, true communication, true honesty, man. True responsibility, duty, and requirement. Right? Don't lessen the blame by blaming somebody. Accept the blame on yourself. Who are you offending? Whose fault is it? Fault or offense on self? Duty to self. My duty to myself. My requirement to myself. My personal responsibility. Let's work on excuses, guys. I love you. Peace. I'm out.
You know what time it
Time to
is.
stand up and speak your mind. In this elitist jungle, keep the beats alive. Whether yoga or doja that keeps you high. Gotta stay up, cause on the street you die. Time to wake up and see the light. Stop counting sheep, seize your life. Free your eyes and see suns rise on the horizon. Where the street meets the sky.
The master's ignorance feeds our master's greed. Open your mind and reason.